Give it up for the slam with Annie Paradis.
Hi, wow. Very cool. Hi, I'm Annie. This is the Slam. Big shout out to everyone in the front row. We got this really a big space for feelings tonight. Thank you all for coming. I just want to acknowledge I'm looking out here, right, and I see you guys, right, and I can kind of just feel, that we're all here, for the same reason, right, which is just, to feel like anything. Yeah, so it's important that you're doing the work and you came out here, yeah. And I know a lot of you are curious, a lot of you guys are some curious learners, and you're seeing this plank of wood right here, and you're saying, who is that? What is that, right? The thing is, everything is dead inside, right? And so to write poetry, we need to just accept that. And this is a $3.99 plank of wood that I got from Home Depot. So I'm gonna keep it near me during the show. I might interact with it, I might completely ignore it, right? And that's my choice. And if you do want to interact with it, bury that feeling deep inside because it's mine, and I'm gonna be having it near me. And at the end, the winner will write an inspirational quote on it. So that's gonna be a moment we're all gonna be bristling for, right? So the slam, I want to start off and say that I am a poet. Thank you so much. I went to art school, so I am a nanny. And yeah, I had to leave the poetry world, very lucrative, very intense field to be a part of. I was making almost too much money. So this show for me is a safe space to let these artists really, find their voice and not make any money from it. So I think that's a really good experience for everybody. Are you guys, I just want to say first, has anyone been to a slam before? Okay, wow, okay, so we are, and I love the polite hand raise we had right there. So if you've been to a slam before, you can make noises. Let's hear the woo. I just heard a woo, right? We can snap. What does a snap sound like? Yeah? We can clap, yeah? We can say, oh, I like that. Yeah, very cool. And if we take a moment and look at our seats, let's all just take a beat. A few of you guys have a piece of paper. Look at your seat. Some of you guys got this. It's a piece of paper, and on one side, Jensen's already found his. It's got a clawfoot tub on one side and Swayze on the other. So that is for you to throw up during a poem. It's really because they need to know how you're feeling at all times, right? As artists, we need feedback immediately. So if a poem is making you feel Swayze, let them know, right? Clawfoot tub, also let them know. Both answers are right. Wonderful. And I see a lot of you looking at me saying, Annie, what would I be reacting to? Alliteration, onomatopoeia, metaphor, rhyme scheme, slant rhyme, right? These are all things that are going to really trigger us, and we need to let everyone know that we're triggered. Does that sound good? Cool, very cool. Do you guys want to meet our contestants for the night? Yeah, let's welcome them to the stage, meet our contestants. Woo! Keep clapping. Yeah, come on out. Woo-hoo. Yeah, take a seat, take a seat. Oh my goodness, wow, thanks all here. You guys want to, I think we're going to meet each of our contestants and hear what their favorite word is. Does that sound good? Yeah, wonderful. So let's meet our first contestant, George Poe. George, come on, let's hear what your favorite word is. Let's get over George, you guys. Yeah.
Hello. Mic's a bit low for me. Hold on a moment. Oh dear. Annie?
Yeah.
Could you repeat my question?
Yeah, what's your favorite word?
Oh. Freedom? No. It's not freedom. It's, in honor of my great-grandfather, Edgar Allan Poe. I will choose the word sacrifice.
Oh, good word. Yes, give it up for George, you guys, with the word sacrifice, right? Wow. What a complicated word that is, right? We've got a bunch of different vowels in there, which can be emotional for some people. And the word itself is not a nice word. Wonderful. Should we keep going? Yeah. Let's meet Nancy. Nancy, let's hear what your favorite word is. Welcome Nancy to the mic, you guys.
Thank you. My favorite word is collate. Thank you.
Wonderful. Give it up for Nancy. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's to put papers together. That's what my brain thinks it means. Is it? Very cool. Oh, I get points. Wonderful. Let's keep going. Let's meet my good man, Meat Man Mark. Welcome up to the mic. Yeah.
Hello! My favorite word is beef stroganoff. Would anybody like raw chicken?
It's on a plate. No? Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Meat Man Mark. You guys give it for Meat Man Mark. Stroganoff, right? That's a layered word, right? And there's a lot of history. And I've never eaten that before, so. Wonderful. Let's keep going. You guys, let's meet Faye. Let's see what Faye's favorite word is. Woo!
You just spoke up. My favorite word is poetry.
Yes! Oh, thank you, Faye. And so, I know a lot of you guys are working on your poetry, right? That's why you guys came here tonight. Just that moment she had of that pause, right? That silence before a poem, right? Because even the act, that was a poem right there, right? So just thinking about the way we're interacting with the space and the sound is really important, right? Wonderful. Let's keep going. Let's meet our final contestant, Melinda Bertha Margaret. Yeah, welcome to the light. What's your favorite word?
Yeah, right. Well, it's a good question, Annie. There's so many words to choose from, feel like, right? In it. Do you know what I mean, then? I mean, there's just, there's words that sound like other words. I feel like that makes it quite complicated. My favorite word would have to be, again.
Oh, again.
Again.
Give it up for Melinda Bertha Margaret, you guys. And again, and I just said it. I just said again, and it's part of the vernacular, right? So even everyday words, right? They're gritty, and there's a lot to get in there with. Wonderful. So the way tonight's gonna work is in a minute we're gonna bring out our guest poet, and Matthew's gonna read a little bit of his work and sit with us, and then we're gonna go through 3 rounds of their slam poems that they've prepared. And now a lot of you guys are sitting here saying, what am I to do? You are to check in with yourself, right? Because at the end you're gonna choose the winner, and that's gonna be a weight on you, and you're gonna have to carry that with you throughout the week. So check in with yourself throughout the night, right? No data, right? No graphs, right? No crunching numbers, right? All about the bucket that's being filled. Wonderful. Should we meet our poet for the night? Yeah. Give it for Matthew Sherling, you guys.
Wow, holy shit. I am blinded. How's everybody doing? Alright, so I'm gonna read some poems, and I'm not gonna read the titles because, I don't know, for some reason when I read poems, like, in public, titles just seem, superfluous, excessive. Okay.
Yeah.
When I imagine myself as the last person on earth, I hope there's a parrot who can read me poetry, or who can teach me how to make fun of myself without self-pity. If I were the last person on earth, I'd never be able to know that. Today the wind keeps picking my hat off my head and tossing it into traffic. The rain never comes, so my throat is all dried up. The grocery store keeps feeling like it's 1,000,000 miles away. When I realize no one will ever know all the thoughts in my head, or the unbridled intoxication I feel when everyone's asleep and a simple shade of orange in my rug brings me rapture, I go outside and stare at the moon as if it were my own face. I ride my bike into a swamp and leave it there. And when my friends and I build a sailboat, even though we don't know how to sail, it's because we believe in our hands more than our brains. And my dog loves me because I have hands that scratch her in ways her paws never will. Thank you. Dostoevsky and I play a video game in which both of us run around on the same team, searching for a secret well that supposedly has healing water. I say, "You go that way and I'll go this way." He says, "That defeats the purpose." Walt Whitman shares a music playlist with me through Google Drive. I Facebook message him, "Why did you put only doo-wop on this?" He says, "Because doo-wop makes me feel completely unafraid of death." Instead of an alarm system, I rigged my house to play Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody" at the highest possible volume when someone breaks in, so the burglar feels overcome by desire for human contact. And I find them weeping on the couch in the morning and give them a huge mug of green tea. Tell the truth, but tell it with a mask on so the audience can pay attention to the truth rather than to you. Tell the truth, but tell it by saying what it is not rather than what it is. Negation is sexy. Tell the truth, but admit that it can't be separated from the observer. Language was created so people could lie. And the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know. Like how I get angry when people drive slow, but anxious when they ride my bumper. Civilization as performance art. Funny, isn't it? That metaphor made matter to make more metaphor, the way eggs made chickens to make more eggs. Thank you. I can hear you, but I can't see you. I stand naked at my window with the blinds open, kind of hoping someone will look in. It's okay, I tell myself. It's okay to be naked. I think I learned a lot from the Jersey Shore I've watched. For instance, people lie to be cool, but then by lying end up not looking cool. Lying can be good too. For instance, the majority of this poem is a lie. Thank you. All I know is that I woke up this morning as I have for 30-something years. Am I an old young man or a young... Wait, am I an old young man or a young... I think I messed up there. Am I an old young man or a young old man? I am neither. I will rise and take my morally conflicted journey into Walmart. At that moment, something turns on inside my head that feels like air conditioning. I am that which does not exist. My mom will always be carrying me from her van to my room after a long soccer tournament. If there is a time and space for everything, there is a time and space to play a drinking game with these tarot cards. I asked my kindergarten teacher if God is anything like chunky spoiled milk. I asked my college world religions professor if God is the empty space in the center of an atom. I had a dream I was looking at a school desk in a dark room, and on that desk a huge book was open to one page that said, "Damn your fear." Once I ate a map to enlightenment and puked it out. I ate my mask and it grew into a fire inside me. I am startled at the beautiful things that have no longer disappeared. A lot of these poems are very old. A couple of them are like little pieces that I found today when I was looking through old notebooks because I was sick of reading stuff that I've read before. But this is a very tiny poem that is old. A man sleeping on the back steps of a mall has memorized the greatest poem in the world. When he wakes up, he recites it to himself. I say, "What is that?" He says, "What is what?" That's it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Matthew. Come sit down. You guys do it for Matthew. Yeah. Okay. So what are you doing, Swayze? How did that feel?
That felt really great.
Oh, wonderful to hear. You guys, that was poetry. You just heard some real poetry. So go back to the water cooler on Monday and you can say that. To round one now. I just want to say that so each round, there's 3 rounds, I chose the themes. And I just chose these themes specifically because I think they're complex, I think they're challenging, I think they could be polarizing. And I kind of like to create that tension, right? Because that's what poetry is. So the first theme for round 1 is a big festival. So that's the theme. I've only been to one maybe festival, and festivals there's a lot of culture in them, but there's also a lot of different kinds of like plants and stuff like that. So there's just a lot to think about when I say big festival. So we're gonna find some poems and see how explored that sound good. Yeah? Should we hear our first poem from George Poe? Yes! Welcome Georgia to the mic, you guys!
My poem is called A Big Creepy Festival. I'm very shy. So shy. Once upon a festival creepy, while I pondered, weak and sleepy, I feasted my 2 creepy eyes on the perfect creepy festival cry. Yellow, plush, and stuffed with cotton, this festival prize could not be forgotten. A little creature of joy and cheer I was stunned to find in this, my 18th year. Blue overalls, goggles, a little yellow man, a pal who could only say banana. I tossed a ball in a creepy pit. 3 bullseyes and I'd quite won it. The prize I wanted won at last with a creepy toss. No, a creepy pass. But soon my prize was torn away from me. My creepy family would not let it be. The prize is not creepy in our way, is what my creepy mother and papa did say. Creepy is part of our family name, so we must all be the creepy same. I miss my prize still to this day, and curse my parents Who took him away?
Wow, you guys, give it up for George. Right? Oh yeah, thank you so much, George. I know a lot of you are saying what we're gonna do with a theme about a big festival. There's a lot in there, right? Like a tent. There's a lot of feelings inside that tent. I just want to come out first and say we had that repetition, right, of creepy, right? And it kind of kept pulling us in. I would say for the first third of the poem, I couldn't really understand what was happening, right? And I say that because that's how poetry can be, right? It's foggy, right? And then the words come up. And the themes of family, right? And not, I have to acclimate to the family unit, you know? Did anything come up for you?
The vulnerability up against the rhyme scheme was effective.
Yeah, we had chaotic vulnerability and the
Yes.
structure of rhyme.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, George. Give it for George, you guys. Cool. Let's keep it going. Let's hear Nancy's first poem. Welcome Nancy up to the mic, you guys.
I'm very pleased I worked this device. So you want to book a meeting, say ye. But alas, the room of requirement is booked until 3. Well, you can't do whatever you fancy, for I am the administrative wizard, and my name is Nancy. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. The hoops you jump through, I kind of secretly endorse them. To be honest, bureaucracy not only keeps me alive, but seeing you try to navigate it allows me to thrive. So you want to book a meeting, say ye? Well, you'll have to fill out Form 34B. Frustrating, you say? You're a bit confused. Well, this is just the form we always have used. I can help you fill out Form 34B if you can answer my riddles 3. When is the event? How many and who all should attend? Does the room lack any technical requirements that we'll need to amend? My magic is so powerful, let me consult my spell book by entering people's names into Microsoft Outlook. Well, Karen is out, Tim on paternity leave. For Marcella, you must first contact her assistant, Steve. The CEO hates mornings, the CFO loathes afternoons. To meet with the project coordinator, her boss must approve. Your attendees are scattered, their schedules conflicting. Pardon my laugh, ha ha ha. Mortals' lives just seem so constricting. I sense the panic sweep across your face, my dear. I just have to ask. Have you considered holding this meeting in the next fiscal year? Please, hold your tears. I shall work my magic. For an unscheduled meeting, I find nothing more tragic. You've completed the form. The arduousness has taken its toll. I'll just need one more thing. And of course, it's your soul. Kidding. Just a little admin joke about bargaining with the devil. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need to reschedule.
Whoever Nancy, you guys. Oh my gosh. Yeah. When we go to work on these poems, relatability, right? We all try to book a room, right? Whether it be in an office or a hotel. Rooms to be booked are a thing, and there's a lot of emotional history in it. And again, this comes to me almost every show, but Dante's Inferno, right? I felt, that tunneling downward, am I gonna get the thing I want, was really coming up for me. Did anything stand out to you?
Well, I felt like the beginning, I was launched back in the past, and then some of the content and wordplay was very modern, so I felt like the juxtaposition between traditional and modern was very striking.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, and that's the goal of poetry, right? That's the goal. You take something old, put something new in it, right? Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Nancy. Beautiful. Give it up for Nancy, you guys. Let's keep it going. Let's welcome
Meat Festival by Meat Man Mark. Wow! It's a festival of meat. No veggies, not even a beet. Chicken, beef, sausage, pork. My only regret is losing my fork. If only I could bring my diseased mother. She's the last of her kind, no sister, no brother. She contracted a serious case of West Nile. It's a sort of thing that'll put you in denial. The scorched smell of searing flesh filled the kitchen. What a mesh. My mother iced my wound as she said, "You will be a meat man, Mark. You will knock 'em dead." Now I flutter through this festival of finely cut meat. A fully grown butterfly. I got no meat! Thinking about a beautiful day where I teach my child how to fillet. Like meat.
Yes, give her Meat Man Mark, you guys. Wow. I mean, so we start off about this meat festival, but what we really need carnage, right? But what we see beneath that is the suffering mother, and what that kind of means, right? Raw meat, raw life, and it brings to mind for me William Carlos Williams, the Red Wheelbarrow, right? What does this object mean, and what's beneath it? Yeah, what anything stand out for you?
Well, I mean, like putting in the context of the family makes it more resonant.
Yes.
And then I feel like the low number of words, right?
Yeah.
And the silence and the engagement with the audience
Yes.
makes it even heightened the content.
For sure, and I agree. A lot of us are going to be performing these poems that we're probably working on our own, and to be bring an aggressive energy, right? To really find someone in the audience and get at them. That's going to connect. That's going to connect, and that's why we do it, right? Wonderful. Let's keep it going. Let's give Meat Man Mark. Let's keep that, and let's keep the body of that Faye. I feel like your favorite poem. Woo!
Hi, my name is Faye, and I'm so excited to do poetry for you today. I'm a poet, and I don't even, dang, bagels sold out early. The doctor said, okay, so I just woke up from a coma. And doctor said that my vocabulary will be kind of off and my motor skills will well, whatever. It's okay, fire truck can't dance. So happy to be here, Annie. I was told before my accident that I was at a festival. So it was the annual Music, Beer, and Hang Gliding Festival in Pomona, sponsored by Sugar Free Red Bull. So I don't remember what hang gliding is, but according to this poem, it's pretty fun. So, soaring, sliding. There is nothing I love more than. What is it? What is it? What is it? Hey. Soaring, sliding. There's nothing I love more than. That's not a word. Who's fucking with me? Who wrote this? dancing through the air with the wind in my grandma, flying and flying. Wow, I really love fishing. Gin Blossom's good, beer good, sugar-free Red Bull good, hang gliding good. Nothing happened that day, nothing bad at all.
Yeah, give it for Faye, you guys. Oh my gosh. I mean, so we have this turn, right? I mean, and there was a jolt in the room, right? The second Gin Blossom was mentioned. Gin Blossom, right? Gin Blossom. What a fun thing to say, also. We said, where are we, right? And I could hear, hey, jealousy, right? And I was taken to the fest, and just that feeling of blacking out, right? That stood out for me. Also, I do want to say Joe Brainerd's I Remember. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that piece, but it's I Remember, and he just goes deep into his own history. So I was taken there, you know.
Yes.
Anything stand up for you?
I was once told that a poem is not good unless the poet is questioning themselves while they're writing it, and that's what I
We
sensed,
saw that. We got to see
and that's
that.
what I sung.
Yes.
So, yes.
Very vulnerable. Thank you so much, Faye. Thank you so much. Wonderful. And guys, again, please feel free. Let them know Swayze. Let them know Clawfoot Town because they need immediate feedback. Wonderful. You want to hear our final poem for round one? Yeah. Let's welcome Melinda Bertha Margaret to the mic, you guys. Woo!
I actually don't need to hear any feedback during my poem. I usually win these things. So, okay. Before I start, are there any women with weak feminine constitutions in the house? I see a couple of you. You might want to close your ears because the brilliance of my rhymes has been known to make people faint. Okay. All right. Oh yes. Oh wonder. Good fortune does reign. It's time to go to the festival again. I'll throw darts and knives and I'll dance on the plain. Yes, it's time to go to the festival again. I don't care if I win, I'll still play the game. All I know is I must go to the festival again. Thank you so much.
Wow, yeah. Clawfoot Tough. Yeah, I felt it too. Wow. I mean, William Blake, right? Having this nature, right? The plains, right? And knowing, and I think we felt held in that poem, right? It's good to feel safe, right? I knew what was coming, right? I knew a game, right? And for us to all be able to say,
I don't think you did know what was coming. I'm surprising.
Yeah.
Poet circles and critics have called my work surprising.
Yeah. So it was a surprise to know what was coming.
Sure.
I would say maybe. Did anything stand out for you?
I feel like it spoke for itself. I feel like the concision was explosive, and to add anything would be unnecessary.
Yes.
So thank you.
It was tight. It was truly tight. Beautiful, guys. That was round one. Yes. Before we go into round two, I like to ask a rapid fire poetic question, which means they haven't heard this question yet, and I made it up right before I got here. And I'm going to ask it to them, and they're going to go down the line and answer very quickly, and then Matthew, you're going to choose your favorite answer.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my question. Is poetry a good thing to do before bed?
Oh. Never.
Yes, we never good for George, you guys.
I think if you can fit it into your schedule,
Oh, yes.
if it's after your Pilates routine and before your night mask, yes. If you can't fit it in, then cut it out because why bother if you're not going to put all your effort into everything on your list.
Beautiful. Give it for Nancy's answer, you guys.
Poetry is like a seasoned pork chop.
Yes. Mark. Faye, what's your answer?
Cadillac margarita.
Yes. Faye.
I exclusively write right before bed and after I've taken a heavy dose of opium.
Oh, good to know, Kim. What's your favorite answer?
Seasoned pork chop.
Yeah, there you go. Meatman Mark, you will get 48,000 emotional points that are yours to use throughout the week. Cash them in for yourself, and they have nothing to do with whether or not you're going to win the game. But they're just for you to hold on to. Wonderful. You guys ready to go to round 2? Yes. Okay, so round 2 is, again, something that I do think is complex, but I'm also kind of obsessed with it. Carvel ice cream cake. That's the theme for round 2. I'm fascinated by it. I like the inside of it, but I haven't had it in like 20 years. So that's an emotional space for me. So I kind of want to see how they could take that. Does that sound good? Yes? Let's hear George Poe's first poem. Woo!
Still a little low. My poem is called A Creepy Carvel Birthday Surprise. I suppose I'll tell it like this. Creak. The sound of the door to Ralph's slowly opening. Creak. The sound of the door to the ice cream cake freezer slowly opening. It is my birthday. I'm shy. The sound my creepy neck makes when I turn my head to ask Papa for the one cake with the tiny yellow friend on it. Creak. The door to Father's car opens, and I place my usual all-black birthday cake in the car. Creak. I'm so shy. I have to be creepy in just the right way. Thank you.
Good word, you guys. Swayze, 100%. I felt that also. A lot to unpack. Is he talking about Minions, do you think? Because I keep thinking of Minions. Yeah, okay, cool. Because I was like, that's an emotional space of Minions. They do creep. Okay, that moment when the speaker said, creak, it's my birthday, right? The number of times I thought that, wake up on your birthday. And again, the doors, right? So many doors in this poem creaking open. And I can't help but think, what that means for stages of life, right? kind of moving through birth into life, into death, and bones creaking, right? And the weight that our bodies carry. Did anything stand out for you?
I feel like we got to know a lot more about the poet this time around.
Yes.
The last bit, the reveal.
Oh, God, haunting.
The reveal of the mask of creepiness as a way to shield himself, or to shield the world from
Yeah.
the true sensitivity inside,
Of course.
right?
I mean, that line of the spheres still must be creepy, but they're not the right kind of creepy.
Yes,
Yeah, so.
indeed.
So much there. Thank you so much, George. Wonderful. Let's keep going, guys. Let's welcome Nancy up to the mic. Here, Nancy with Moab. Woo!
There are utensils on the floor. It's a health and safety issue. It's not my job to pick them up. I just thought I would alert everyone. And now my poem. Sorry to contact you. I don't mean to seem rude, but will your meeting be requiring food? I summon you with the administrative wizard's kiss. A message appears in your inbox. Just circling back on this. For you see, I know that you've withheld information. If you intend to bring food, we must have another consultation. How did I know, you ask? A wizard's intuition. Plus, scuttlebutt round the office had roused my suspicion. I will now use my staff to conjure a storm. How powerful am I? Basically, you have to fill out another form. I'll now use my magic to accommodate everyone's diet. That time someone just ordered a pizza, it started a riot. We must assess absolutely everyone's needs. Each soul feeding upon what they prefer to be fed on is upon what my soul feeds. I will lay out my plan, my crafty wizarding prescription. Please fill out Form 86A. List everyone's dietary restrictions. Well, I know Karen is vegan, Tim allergic to nuts. If there's too much gluten, Marcella weirdly tut-tuts. The CEO hates junk food, the CFO won't have anything lean, and the project coordinator calls herself a bad bitch Cato queen. I'll come up with a menu, my magic wand I shall wave, but I must ask you for one small favor. Can you water my plants while I'm away? Give me what I want, for you must understand you cannot escape me. We work in an open floor plan. We are in agreement. The deed has been done. Now I trust that your meeting, like any, will be fun. Remember, the menu needs your official approval. Don't take our alliance for granted. That will only lead to your removal. Just send a quick email. Don't make me cast a pox. Remember, I can see if you haven't viewed my shared Google Docs. Watering my plants with your soul isn't really such a fee. And if anything changes, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Yes, good for Nancy, you guys. Again, the presentation, right? I love the moment before she began the poem where she said, "It's not my job to pick these things up. I'm just alerting you." Right? And how many times a day do we want to do stuff, right? We take action of our lives in that way. Really own your space. The second thing I really loved was the moment when the poem said, "Just circling back on this," right? I've never worked in an office, but I love those kinds of phrases, right? Because to circle back means to return, right? And so just breaking down language in this cyclical way, right? The seasons of coming back to a topic. I love that moment. Anything come up for you?
I feel like the speaker wants to convince us that she has animosity toward her coworkers. However, she knows so much about them that she seems to actually like them secretly.
It's almost like a reverse metaphor, right? Which is the thing we call in the biz of poetry. Flip the metaphor, and there's a pull it back, and there's something deeper, right? I just also, we had that soul moment, right? That's my soul feeds, like, and it, which was interesting, the feeding, right? Because the poem was about food, you know. Quick thing I'll say, also, forms are like poems, right? There's a way to look at a form, and there's places to put the words, and it's kind of a poem within a poem. Food for thought. Wonderful. Let's keep going. Let's hear Meat Man Mark's poem.
The Feeling of Raw Chicken by Meat Man Mark. Cold like a patch of snow, still like a shallow pond, pink like my gaping asshole, slick like a pan before cooking, calm like a 23-year-old adult, thick like a book you'll never finish, soft like my gaping asshole, warped like wet floorboard, expensive like gasoline for a car, heavy like your middle school journal, delicate like your heart at the age of 12, quiet like the knick-knack sitting in your mother's cabinet, stern like my gaping asshole, gentle like holding a hand, wise like my old gaping asshole, gooey like a deep love, savory like your last kiss, chewy like a fig Newton, tender like my asshole. Thank you.
Yes, you're Meat Man Mark. Yes, Swayze, I agree. Something that I'm noticing that Meat Man Mark is doing that I really love is before he reads his poem, he says, "By Meat Man Mark," which is really important. When you're reading your poems, let them know it's you, right? Second of all, I loved the repetition because I kept saying, I mean, by the end of the poem, I didn't even know what was like, I didn't know what the thing was that we were comparing to begin the list, but that was fine because I kept saying, is this just about the asshole, right? Which is very Ginsberg, right? Holy, right? Holy, holy. And so that was coming to mind for me. Anything stand out for you?
Yeah, I like the repetition, but mainly because there was serious lines and then the asshole lines, and I feel like the serious lines became more playful when the asshole was reintroduced. So.
Yeah, and that's a note for everyone's poems, right? Bring in your body into the poem, and it will inherently have a lot of playful notes. Yeah, the 12-year-old line, that was very sweet. I like that moment. Wonderful. Let's keep going. Faye, let's hear your poem for round 2.
I couldn't remember what Carvel ice cream cake was since my accident, so I wrote about my favorite food, meatloaf. Meatloaf. A cold, creamy layer of chocolate. A crunchy chocolate layer of cookies. A cold, creamy layer of vanilla. Vanilla icing. Blue icing. Any icing will do. Icing. Meatloaf.
Yeah, give up for Faye. Yeah, Papa thinking about it, and that was kind of, and I felt, is we gonna see Meatloaf? And we didn't, it was a bookend poem, right? We started with Meatloaf and we ended with Meatloaf. Did anything come up for you?
I feel like one of the best things about poetry is that it defamiliarizes you with common things.
Yes.
And that's exactly what that poem is.
Yeah. It can really cause you to disassociate from language, right? Which again is what we want to be doing with our poems, is causing people to disassociate from their lives. Thank you so much, Faye. Give up for Faye! Let's keep it going. And let's welcome Melinda, Bertha, Margaret up to the mic. Woo!
Yum yum, slurp slurp, I am eating a cake, and I shall like to be eating it again and again. Give me sprinkles and give me ice cream. If I don't get them now, I promise I'll ask for it again. Thank you so much.
Yes! Good for Melinda, Bertha, Margaret! Yeah! Compliment and Swayze, I agree. That line, I shall like to be eating ice cream. This is the present tense, it's happening now, and I'm saying this genuinely. My friend's a Navajo poet, and he says that there's words, that a lot of their language is always in present tense, because they believe things are always in this moment. And so that just was like, yeah, I always want to be eating the cake, right? I'm always going to be in that state of pleasure. And why not? Did anything stand out for you?
I feel like every good artist basically writes or creates art about the same thing.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I feel like this poet that we have on our hands here is unashamedly riffing on the same thing.
You're working in that world of games.
This man understands me.
Oh, right, and that's a poetic connection, right? In the biz, we call it networking. We call it networking with other poets, and you can see that in a moment. Beautiful. Round 2, you guys. Before we got a final round, so again, you guys will be choosing the winner, so just checking in with yourself, taking a deep breath, but don't leave, huh? So the theme for, our question for you guys, are you ready to answer it? We have our rapid fire poetic question. George, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Okay. Should more people talk about rain or liquid in their poems?
If they want to, then no.
Yeah, for George's answer, they wanted to know.
I would need to see the data on how many people have been writing. If I could get a chart or a graph of how many people write about rain, how much rain do they write about, the volume of the liquid, is it acidic rain? That's important.
People, you want to pass the mic down? Yes, okay, give it up for Nancy's answer.
Liquid is an important ingredient to keep your roast beef moist.
Can you go? I haven't decided what I want to order.
I think we all know that I write quite a lot about rain, right?
Yes, give it up for Margaret. What was your favorite answer? Which one did you like the most? Melinda, Bertha, Margaret. You get 800. This is me points. That you use throughout the week. Cash them in around other people. Again, has nothing to do with whether you're gonna win or not. But those are for you. Woo! Wonderful. So this final theme again, something that I think I am obsessed with, but don't do well, which is taking it easy.
Right? We hear some chuckles because some people feel the same way. Yikes. Cool. So that's the theme for round 3. Are you ready for that? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, George, come on up. It's your final poem. Oh, he's so shy. He's so shy. Look at that ladle.
This poem is dedicated to my father, so I'm going to give him a seat.
Oh, that's your dad?
If I could have somebody perform as a music stand for me, I'll be needing both of my hands for my poem. Perhaps you could kneel and hold my
I'll definitely do it.
for me. Papa, are you listening? I called this poem Easy to Be Yourself. It was hard to find my creepy brand. But now I'm going to take a very creepy stand. No more cloaks and grandpapa style. I've discovered something creepier, though it took a little while. It's easier just to be yourself. I'm so shy. So I'm putting the old me up on the shelf. George Poe, now and evermore. Is George Banana? No! No! And that is the score. Do you hear me, Papa? This is who I am.
Yes, you gotta do it for George. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much, George. No longer shy. Swayze. Oh wow, and Papa accepts you. I will say it's shocking we haven't even talked about Edgar Allan Poe this whole time. That currency running through these pieces. And it was very similar to the piece by Poe with the heartbeat beating, right, that he could hear. I feel like the inner banana was just trying to get peeled open. That was what I got from all the trilogy. Did anything stand out for you?
I feel like until this poem, he was literally and figuratively haunted by the shadow.
Yes.
And he used this platform as a means for self-transformation. So
Yeah, the raven becomes the crow.
yes.
But crow. Wonderful. Let's keep it going. Let's bring Nancy up to the mic, you guys.
I just want to take a moment to say in all seriousness that there are still cooking utensils on the floor and also apparently some loose meat. I'm not pointing any fingers as to who put it there. If there's an intern or a temp that takes care of these things, you have been alerted. We're here to have fun. My poem. Out of office reply. Thank you for your message. I am now out of office, for I am out on a mission foretold by the prophets. Prophets like all-seeing, not prophets like money. Oh Lord, if you saw our accounts, you'd know cash is what we're hemorrhaging, honey. I've taken off to see where I've gone, look into this prism. For while I ruled from my administrative throne, it was really a prison. The system with its paperwork has taken its toll, And now I must inform you I've run off with your soul. I'm out at the beach, I'm getting a tan, for I refuse to work my magic on behalf of the man. For making you fill out forms, you thought me your enemy, when in reality I consider myself a bit more of a frenemy. Get out while you can, jump from this ivory tower, for the paperwork will begin to drain all your earthly power. For me, the sudden thought had just arisen. The evil was never within me, but inside capitalism. You can have your soul back once you find my location, but you have to understand, I really, really need a vacation. While I'll miss my outlooking, my excelling, my spreadsheeting, I must be away. Hope you have a good meeting.
Woo! Good for Nancy, guys. Yeah, top. Very similar to the Odyssey, right? A journey and then free at the end. Did anything come up for you?
Well, we haven't mentioned that cat on her folder.
You're right,
And I can't help but hear that cat being the one who is the speaker. So I'm still trying to.
You
wrap
figured
my-
it out.
Yes. All right.
What I love about this moment, with that moment, is capitalism, right? This folder is part of capitalism, right? And so what you're hearing is the purring of money, right? And the man. So yeah, a lot going on there. Thank you so much, Nancy. You guys, let's keep going. Let's welcome Meat Man Mark up to the mic. Woo!
My Last Dinner by Meat Man Mark. Take it easy, I said to my steak. Its eyes undressed me. I made a mistake. This seasoned cooked beef is no phony. It's alive and well and very horny. Kiss me, baby, it said, sliding off the bone. I shook my head, no, and it started to moan. Then I'll never forget what it said after that. We're all slabs of meat, lathered in fat. I watched the life vanish from its rare toned body. My bones felt weak because I knew it felt jolly. So I grabbed my hat and I rushed to the store for me, a plant-based diet forevermore.
Wow, good for me, man. Mark, you guys. Yes, lazy and chocolate cup. I agree. Wow. I mean, again, like, there's always a poem that takes me by surprise. And I would say with this one, the fact that the steak was horny, right? Which was a flip, right? Because normally you would think the person was horny. So a lot of tension in the meat. Gritty. Anything come up for you?
Well, he introduced it by the last dinner
Yeah.
/ I thought of the Last Supper.
Mhm.
So I felt like he was definitely tinkering in some sacred space.
Yes. and the fornication between the meat and the person, right? Very sacred. Wonderful! Let's keep going. Let's hear Faith final poem.
I go on vacation a lot. And it's really stressful. So I wrote about something that does not stress me out at all. Angry dogs barking. I love the sound of angry dogs barking. Such a soothing sound is the sound of angry dogs barking. I like to go down to the beach to hear the angry dogs barking and dip my toes in the angry dogs barking. The sound of angry dogs barking splashing against the sand. Angry dogs barking is even more beautiful as the sun sets. And then I threw my boyfriend's ashes in the ocean. He died in a hang gliding accident. The one that gave me a brain injury.
Yes! Good open debate! Wow. I think a lot of us were taken back to one of my favorite pieces, Who Let the Dogs Out by because that question of who, right? And the speaker being, yes, I hear them, right? The speaker likes to hear them, but really it's the ocean. Super dissociative. I mean, it really, for me, felt like a Frank O'Hara piece, or even Joseph Sarapola, right? We're removing context so that we can really feel the words. Anything come up for you?
I think you've captured it all.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Good BFA. Wonderful. You'll hear our final poem of the night? Yeah. Let's go from Margaret, Bertha, Melissa to the mic. Woo!
This is a departure from some of my earlier work, so feels a little vulnerable to be reading it, but I'm going to, I guess. Okay. Mum says, don't you know, it's 10:30. You must be getting out of bed, my friend. To that I say, Mum, don't put me in a bend. It's nice to take time off now and then. Oh, Mum, I wish this summer would never end. This year has worn me out, and I am on the mend. I have time to kill and wounds to tend, for I like to take it easy every now and again.
Yes, thank you so much for your departure like a boomerang, right? Just and then it did come back a little bit, which I did love. I love the nuance there. It sucks when summer ends. Anything stand up for you?
Yeah, I felt like she was, the boomerang is exactly right. I felt like she was taking us over here, and then she looped back.
We circled back.
So that we knew what we were dealing with.
Yeah,
right?
Beautiful. I agree completely.
The brand, she stayed true to her brand.
Yeah, which is about poetry, right? Poetry is your brand. Know your brand. Guys, give it for our poets. Yes. Great. So now, y'all are gonna choose the winner, and the winner gets a paper plate award I made that says a room full of strangers think I'm good at poetry. So I'm gonna put this near them, and you're gonna emote loudly for who you want to win. Sound good? Yes. Okay. Ready? That didn't sound different enough. Let's do it again. Okay, make distinct different noise. You're going to write your own inspirational quote on my wooden plank. And while you do that, I like to conclude every slam kind of with just a quote from a favorite piece that I'm into at the moment.
just ceremony rituals really important. So this piece is called Dig It. It is from the Holes soundtrack. I tried looking up to see who had written it, and it was the cast. Zigzag. You've got to go and dig those holes with broken hands and withered souls. Emancipated from all you know, you've got to go and dig those holes. Then all. Dig it, oh, oh. Dig it, oh, oh. Dig it, oh, oh. Dig it, oh, oh. Caveman, which is Shia LaBeouf, go. With 2 suits, 2 tokens. Yeah. I got no respect because I'm the new man. Got my shovel, shoes full of sand. Check out the tag. The name's Caveman. Dig it up, oh. Dig it. Dig it up, oh. Dig it. Dig it up, oh. Dig it. Dig it up, oh. Thank you so much. This is The Slam. We're here every Friday, 9:30 p.m. at the Ruby. Have a good night, you guys.